From legendary Disney child stars to other kids who thought that they had it all but lost it all at the same time. Join me as I show you 8 famous kids who ruined their careers.
Do you want to win any of these items on your screen? If so, be sure to watch the whole video, leave a like, and comment the hidden message. And with that being said, let's get right into the video.
8. Gary Coleman. What you talking about, Willis? Well, I'm talking about Gary Coleman, one of the most famous child stars ever, yet one of the ones who arguably fell the hardest shortly after their bout with fame was done. You see, he started out on the very popular show Different Strokes, where he played Arnold Jackson. From the moment he was on camera, you could tell that this kid was a star, and he certainly was able to live up to those expectations. But behind the scenes, he was miserable. He noted later in life that he was working long hours despite being a kid. His adoptive parents and agent were taking large chunks of the money that he had earned. While still a kid, he was part of many movies because of the fame he got in Different Strokes, but it was all coming to a head, and not a good one. For once his fame kind of boiled over, so did Gary Coleman. He struggled with depression, he sued his adoptive parents for money because of what they did to him as a kid, something many child stars have done to be honest, and even though he won, he went bankrupt less than a decade later, had a messy public divorce, had issues with other jobs, and was doing basically any kind of role he could get because he was so poor, even parodying himself at times. And his story now lives as a tale of woe, as well as a warning to all child stars. 7. Brian Bonsall. During the 90s, Disney wasn't just making hits with their Disney Channel original series, they were also making one-off movies that would soon become classic films. One of the ones that many people remember for one reason or another is the film Blank Check. In it, a young kid gets a check for $1 million and pretends to be a rich guy so that he can do everything he's ever wanted, which many of us can relate wanting to do. This film worked because of its young star, Brian Bonsall, who enacted the dreams and wishes of just about every kid at the time. And it was a fun film. But what happened to him after? Well, not unlike many Disney stars, he tried to get into the music industry, but his own personal demons got into his way. Then, he made a bad move by not showing up in court, which got him into even more trouble. His personality continued to haunt him, and it even led to a guy impersonating him, complete with accurate tattoos and looks, to try and cause more trouble. You can't make this stuff up. It's a big reason why Bonsall is not in the public light anymore. 6. LaLanne Vergara Paris. The show Lizzie McGuire was an undeniable hit on the Disney Channel, especially since you can watch it all now on Disney+. It single-handedly launched the career of Hilary Duff and made some other stars too, including LaLanne Vergara Paris, who played Lizzie's best friend Miranda. Miranda was truly one of the best parts of the show, as she was both loyal to Lizzie, but not afraid to speak her mind or show her style and flair when the scene called for it. And yet, in 2003, when the Lizzie McGuire movie aired on the channel, Miranda and LaLanne were nowhere to be found. She wasn't even name-dropped as a call-out to the character and actress. It was like she was never part of the show. Many fans were stunned by her random and sudden absence. Sadly, the reason for this is that after she signed a record deal, as she wanted to be a singer after acting, and even did some songs for some Disney albums, LaLanne openly admits that this was part of her life that she wishes she could forget. But she did make it out of that dark period, which is to be praised. She works now, but not as an actress. She's doing what she can to get the bills paid, and that's enough for her. However, with the Lizzie McGuire revival series coming to Disney+, many people are wondering if Miranda will return. Her confirmation is not clear at this point. 5. Orlando Brown. Let's head to another popular series from the most popular era of Disney Channel. That's So Raven, starring Raven-Symoné. The sitcom about a girl who could see the future, but not always in the most clear of ways, causing great hijinks. Her best friend on the show was Eddie Thomas, real name Orlando Brown, and he was very good on the show. Once the series was over, as all series go, he went out to try and become both an actor and a musician. And to his credit, he did it with some decent success, which is more than many others can say. Despite his successes, his battle with the law was what truly ruined his life. He had numerous bouts with the law for a variety of charges. But what might be the most sad thing about this is that in a mugshot that was released, a tattoo on Brown clearly resembled Raven-Symoné. Coincidence? A desire to go back to simpler days? Something darker than that? We don't know. But when the sequel series Raven's Home came around, Orlando Brown was not there to be seen or heard from. 4. Brad Renfro. Brad Renfro's story should have been like one from a fairy tale, mainly because he was someone who came from nothing and got a strong acting career. Before he ever struck it big, all he had in his life was his grandmother, and they lived in a very small trailer park. And then he hit the jackpot. A casting director saw potential in Renfro and started putting him in movies, including Tom and Huck, alongside another Disney star, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. That led to even more movie deals for the kid, which should have been great, until it wasn't. According to people who worked with Renfro during those days as a child star, he was very uncontrollable. And just as bad, his grandmother wasn't even trying to control him on set. But hey, having a bad attitude works for some people, right? Well, it does, but not here. That bad attitude led him to doing several crimes. Oh, and he tried to steal a yacht once. Because, sure, why not try and steal a yacht? I guess. The true tragedy of Brad Renfro's came when he was 25, when he passed away. Many look at Renfro's life and rise and fall as a cautionary tale, one that many today should look at if they want to introduce their kids to the life of an actor or actress. And many claim that it was because of the spotlight and pressures put on this kid that his acting career caused him to go over the edge. 3. Jake Paul. Disney has a lot of business ventures, and they know how to pick up talent when they think that they can bring them more attention and money. So when they noticed a kid named Jake Paul making a lot of liked videos on Vine, which is now gone from the social media world, they decided to sign him to a show they were making called Bizaardvark. And lo and behold, the show was a success, and Jake Paul used that success to build up his YouTube channel. But he let his ego get in the way of things, and the content he started to make became divisive in the worst ways possible. First off, he was getting as many haters as he was fans, and his eccentric personality, if you can call it that, was getting him in trouble with his neighbors. Why? Well, it was because he was throwing all sorts of loud parties and having huge prank wars. It eventually led to a series of complaints and lawsuits against him. Eventually, it got to the point where there was no coming back, and so Disney fired him. He tried to play it cool, but most people accept that it was because he was a jerk. And now many people use his name as a reference for being a jerk. 2. Justin Bieber. What? I'm serious. The Bieber deserves to be on this list. Just hear me out, okay? When Justin Bieber broke onto the scene, thanks to his mother posting videos of him singing on YouTube and then Usher bringing him into the fold, everyone who listened to him, for the most part, had Bieber fever. And whether you want to admit it or not, the kid could sing. So much so that he became a phenomenon that continued for many years. Sadly, like many child stars, he let the fame go to his head. A series of incidents started to show that Bieber wasn't as sweet and innocent as his songs made him out to be, including potentially assaulting people, chastising fans, and attacking paparazzi. It got so bad that there was a legitimate movement among people to try and get Bieber deported back to Canada because they were tired of his antics. Sure enough, while Bieber is still making music and is still very popular, Bieber fever has definitely worn off. He's a lot quieter these days, despite having a sudden marriage to a Baldwin, but you have to wonder what all is going on inside of his head. Number 1. Lindsay Lohan. I mean, is there any doubt that she basically ruined her life after, going crazy? Like many on this list, Lindsay Lohan was a child star for Disney, first getting fame for the beloved remake of The Parent Trap, where she played a set of twins. This catapulted her into more movies, more appearances, and more hits, including a remake of the Herbie franchise, Freaky Friday, and the now classic Mean Girls film. So, what happened? Sadly, like many stars, she decided that the party life was what she was meant to do, and this led to many, many issues and arrests, including driving her car into a tree and more. Lohan had frequent visits to rehab, and it didn't get better for a long time. What's worse, she kept trying to bank on her celebrity and got cameo appearances on shows, commercials, and more with mixed success, including making one of the worst movies ever via I Think I Know Who Killed Me. To her credit, she did eventually stabilize, and she went and did make some good decisions by running some business as well, including the aptly titled Lindsay Lohan Club. Still, you have to wonder just how big she might have been if she had stayed clean. So, what do you think? Do you remember all these child stars? And can you believe where they are right now? Which of these stories do you think is the most tragic of the bunch? Can you believe that such tragedies befell so many of them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time on the channel.
A simple reminder on how to enter our brand new giveaway. We will be giving away either an iPhone X Max, the new iPad mini, or a MacBook Pro. It's really your choice. So be sure to leave a like, comment the keyword, subscribe, and turn on notifications to enter the giveaway. It's really that simple. Go for it.